Ever feel like the world's economic stage is dominated by just a few familiar faces? You know, the US, Europe, Japan, the usual suspects. But what if I told you there's a powerful club, a new alliance that's been quietly rewriting the rules of the global game for over 2 decades? A group that started as just an idea on a piece of paper and now represents over 45% of the world's population. This is the story of the BRICS. It all begins back in 2001. Not in a secret summit, but in a report from an investment bank, Goldman Sachs. An economist named Jim O'Neill was looking at the future, trying to figure out where the next big economic boom would come from. He saw something incredible happening in 4 specific countries: Brazil, Russia, India, and China. He noticed they were all huge, with massive populations and rich natural resources. But more importantly, their economies were growing at a jaw-dropping speed. They were the rising stars. So he coined a catchy acronym for them: BRIC. B-R-I-C. At first, BRIC was just that, an acronym for investors. It was a Wall Street buzzword. But the leaders of these 4 nations saw something more. They saw a shared identity. They were all major regional powers, all developing nations, and they all felt that the existing global order set up after World War II didn't really give them a fair say. They were tired of being on the sidelines while others made the big decisions. So the idea started to take shape. They began meeting informally on the edges of big UN summits. A handshake here, a conversation there. It was like the beginning of a superhero team-up. Then in 2009, in the Russian city of Yekaterinburg, it became official. The leaders of Brazil, Russia, India, and China held their very first formal BRIC summit. It was a huge moment. They were no longer just a concept in an economic report. They were a real political bloc. They announced to the world that they were here to work together, to push for a more multipolar world. A world with many centers of power, not just one. But the story doesn't end there. The club was about to get a new member. In 2010, South Africa, a key economic powerhouse on the African continent, was invited to join. And just like that, BRIC became BRICS with a capital S. This was a big deal. It made the group truly global, representing a huge chunk of Asia, Europe, South America, and now Africa. Over the next decade, the BRICS got serious. They weren't just talking anymore, they were building. In 2014, they did something monumental. They created their own bank, the New Development Bank, sometimes called the BRICS Bank. Its mission? To fund infrastructure projects in developing countries, offering an alternative to the Western-led World Bank and IMF. They were building their own system, on their own terms. And the evolution continues. Just recently, the group underwent its biggest expansion ever, inviting major players like Saudi Arabia, Iran, the UAE, Egypt, and Ethiopia to join the fold. This isn't just a small club anymore. It's a rapidly growing force that's challenging the old way of doing things. So, from a simple acronym in an investment report to a global alliance shaking up international politics, the story of BRICS is a powerful reminder that the world is always changing. And the next chapter? Well, it's being written right now.